What is going on, everyone? My name's Andy and welcome to another FPL video. Today it's the Game Week 17 preview. I'm going to take a quick look back at my Game Week 16 before looking ahead to the next game week. And this one was a bit better, I think, for a lot of people than Game Week 15. Obviously, it depends who you had. Those that Captain Kane and stuff the previous week probably did okay. But for me, 73 points, which was 69 total because I took a 4-point hit, which I've forgotten to note down, which means I've passed the 1,000 points barrier. Now on 1,016, 14.7k rank. So still doing pretty good for this stage of the season, but I don't know how many more weeks I can say that for until it gets to the point where I'm just hanging around and not really moving up. I really want to get into that top 10k and cement my place there. But that's up from 19k, and that's slowly clawing back the damage from the previous week where I was 11k. So my highest rank this season so far is 7.4k, so I'm still a little bit way off that, but we're climbing back slowly. Who did well for me? Doherty, attacking master. 3 attacking returns in a row now. To be fair, before that there was lots of 1s and 2s, and Wolves haven't kept a clean sheet for like 6 or 7 games now, maybe even 8, which is a bit disappointing. But if you can get attacking returns like that every week, we're not going to complain. And obviously if the clean sheets do come, and they've got fairly mixed fixtures every other week now, I think they have a top 6 team, which you're not expecting clean sheets from in those. But given his price, he's like 5.1 million now, something like that. Even at that price, he could be a decent pick because they've got a decent fixture every other week. And with those kind of attacking returns, you can maybe play him in the tougher games. Obviously, playing someone like Man City is going to be hard. But yeah, attacking returns great, and Doherty has been amazing for my team. So glad I bought him. Ryan sucks. So Brighton had that like 3-game spell in a row where he averaged like 10 points per game, and since then he's got no clean sheets, barely a save point as well. I need to get rid of him. The fixtures are about to turn for Brighton. Don't know if I'm going to do it this week, but yeah, I just wanted to point out that he sucks really, and that he has done for a while. Alonso returns again. He's got plenty of returns in recent weeks. There's a couple obviously where he hasn't returned, not expecting him to return every week. So I'm still happy enough with him. Chelsea's fixtures do turn now after that Man City game, where obviously I wasn't necessarily expecting a clean sheet. It was nice to get one. One thing worth mentioning, though, I saw Apple Bonkers on Twitter today say that since Game Week 3, so from Game Week 4 to now, to Game Week 16, Luiz has actually outscored Alonso, which is interesting. I expect a lot of people would have missed that, myself included, because Alonso got so many of his points in the opening kind of 3 or 4 game weeks that we just haven't noticed that Luiz has been ticking along. Obviously, he got boosted by his goal against Man City and 3 bonus points. But worth mentioning, it is possible for defenders to outscore Alonso. But for me, I've got him in my team. It's not a transfer I want to use. Hopefully he can get some of those attacking returns back even more, and get up the pitch further and further, and maybe even get the brace that we've seen him do a couple of times in the last couple of seasons. So I'm happy enough with him. Digne over Keane. So I picked Keane, probably trying to be a little bit clever. I don't want to write off that decision just yet. It's only been a few game weeks, but I went for Keane for the potential attacking threat and goals. And more bonus points. But Digne or Dean has actually been smashing the bonus points recently. And if they kept some clean sheets, he would have been right up there. Now, obviously, they haven't, so that doesn't matter. But scored a nice free kick in the last minute of the game yesterday. I'm recording this on Tuesday night, so in the game yesterday against Watford. So 10-point return for their owners, and I was there with Keane, not looking as good, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And Mo Salah is okay at football. I've been holding on to him for a while because he's been pretty consistent, and just other things have been getting in the way of making that transfer. And obviously it's not one you rush. Mo Salah, 13 million, can do damage as we've seen this week. He's not someone you want to rush out of your team. I might still take him out this week. I'll discuss that soon. But yeah, I have to give credit to him. A hat-trick is amazing. Yes, he was kind of helped by Cook at Bournemouth quite a lot. But still, 3 goals is brilliant. And the only thing I'm annoyed at myself about is not captaining him, but I had Aubameyang against Huddersfield, so I was never going to captain Salah. I felt like Aubameyang was a decent captain. Obviously, now I'm getting a little bit more cold feet on him, but he did get the assist. He did miss a pretty good chance as well, which would have really boosted the points. Probably got him 3 or 2 bonus points, and that would have been a pretty nice score. So happy enough there. Jimenez was benched, but so be it. That's his rest. He should keep playing now until maybe the January transfer window. If Wolves don't buy someone. And then go on my Son. So I took a 4-point hit to get Son in. I didn't go Wilson. As it turns out, Wilson was injured, which people found out like 2 or 3 minutes before the deadline because of Jamie Redknapp on Soccer AM. But I was going to go for Son anyway. I tweeted that out the day before. To fund that, I got Kamara, but I put him 3rd on the bench. I didn't get his points. But yeah, Son returned straight away now. Don't know if he's going to play next week. I'll discuss that a bit in a minute. But 14 points is a great return for the first week in my team. And Spurs fixtures are really good. And honestly, if if all the 4 of the main attackers, and by that I mean Son, Ali Eriksson and Kane, all start every one of the next kind of 4 or 5 games, I think Son's got the potential to be the highest scorer, even better than Kane. Now, Kane we're going to discuss in a minute in the preview, but that's a pretty big, bold claim, I know, but I think Son's that good in that team. Gets in the box, has plenty of shots that I think he can do damage just like Kane can. So fingers crossed that he keeps starting. But yeah, we'll leave the review there and we'll head into Game Week 17. So let's go through the points for Game Week 17. Again, I will just reiterate, I'm recording this on Tuesday night. The Champions League matches have finished, so I now know that Spurs and Liverpool have gone through. Salah with another goal. And Lucas Moura against Barcelona doing the business there. But obviously I don't know what's going to happen in the rest of the matches, whether injuries and stuff get picked up. I've just seen on Twitter that Trent Alexander-Arnold may have gone off with a little injury. Whether he'll be fit for the next game, we'll have to wait and see what Klopp says. So I can't really comment on that too much. I've got to record this on Tuesday to get out on Wednesday. So what to do with Salah? Now, lots of people saying that now he's scored a hat-trick, you can't get rid of him. Obviously, one of the key points to FPL is to try and predict, either when a player is going to stop scoring or when they're going to start scoring. Now, Mo Salah, there's a few things to consider when you talk about whether to take him out or not. Obviously, seems to be getting a bit of confidence if he didn't have it already. 3 goals is going to do that for you. Scored another goal tonight against Napoli, took it really well. He's on a bit of a run. To be fair, he's kind of been in form all season, apart from against top 6 opponents. He's barely blanked in the easier games, and if he had a great run of fixtures now, I wouldn't hesitate to probably keep him. The key thing for me is in the next 5 game weeks, he has 3 top 6 teams. Now, people are saying, it's Man United, they're rubbish. They've been rubbish all season, barely keeping clean sheets, and you're right. But when it comes to those big games, they can be tight, and I don't think Klopp is going to underestimate that Man United team. I don't think he's necessarily going to go fully all-out attack. Lots of people commenting that Liverpool haven't necessarily been a full attacking team this year, not like last year at least. They're still scoring plenty of goals. But because their defence is so good now, they can close out matches. Alisson and Van Dijk really shoring up that defence where, if they go 1 or 2-0 up, they can actually close out the game. It's not negative or anything like that. It just means they don't have to go for maybe the 3, 4, 5 goals they would have done in the past to make sure that they get the win. So for me, do I think he can score goals over the next 5? Probably yes, especially in the Wolves and Newcastle game. But I am a bit concerned about those top 6 matches. And it's not that he can't do anything in those. Obviously, everyone expected Man City to win at the weekend against Chelsea. Actually, it was Hazard that came away with points with 2 assists. So I'm not saying that Salah can't get points. If you're going to predict when he's going to slow down on points, you'd imagine it's over these next 5 game weeks. Now, I've set my team up in a way where I could kind of do with that money. And the idea would be that I would spread the funds out and have kind of a power 5 midfield. And the other thing to say about Salah is at 13 million, you want to captain him. Now, when are you captain him over the next 5 game weeks? Probably you're not going to captain against Man United. People have got Kane, even Aubameyang against Southampton could be a better option there. And obviously Man City midfielders have been really good too. So you're probably going to captain him against Wolves away, but again, Kane's probably got a good fixture, Aubameyang's got a good fixture, or Newcastle at home, which is probably the one I would look at. You're not going to captain him in those top 6 games. So the other thing to remember is once you get rid of him, you can get him back. I've already done it this season. I got rid of him and I got him back for the good fixtures, and he's been really good for me. Great captain, obviously got the hat-trick. But I feel because I've done that once, I can do it again. So there's every reason to keep him if you've got other fires to put out, if you don't need the money necessarily. I mean, saying you don't need the money, everyone needs the money. You can always make your team better. But maybe you've got another transfer that you can do that would make your team stronger. You don't need to transfer Salah out. Then, yeah, I think you can keep him. I think the key thing to remember with when I say that there's 3 top 6 teams in the next 5 is that they only play one of those in the next 3. So they've got Man United and then they've got Wolves and Newcastle. It's pretty decent. And at that point, you'd probably just keep him because it's only 2 tough fixtures to get through. And then Liverpool's fixtures are really good. I think I'm going to take the risk and get rid of him and look to get him back after those 5 fixtures. And people say, well, it's hard to get him back. Well, I'm going to transfer him out for a -4, switch his money around between him and Diangana, 2 players. Then all I need to do is switch back again later on. So it's not the end of the world to do that. But yeah, I think it's a really close one. If you want to keep him, then I don't think that's a bad decision. If you want to get rid of him, I don't think that's an awful decision either. And I will probably be looking at getting rid, just because of those tougher fixtures. And I think I just think his points will be diminishing those, like everyone's is. It's against top 6 teams. It's tough for everyone. It's not just a Salah thing. Is Kane essential? So Spurs fixtures are really good, and I think those that have got him in looks like a great captaincy option. Still not kind of got the brace hat trick that people are expecting. Could do it against Burnley at home. They've been awful defensively recently. He's got Bournemouth, I think, in game week 19 as well, which looks like a great fixture. That's who Salah got his points against. Is he essential for 13 million? I'm not so sure. I think a lot of it comes down to captaincy. If you want to get him in now and kind of treat him as a set and forget captaincy, then go for it. 13 million, especially if you've not got Salah. I think I said in the last video, it's tough to have both of them. But I think you can go for it. For me, my kind of plan and the hope that he's not essential is people are kind of forgetting how good Man City have been, especially the midfielders, especially Sterling at home. He's got a ridiculous record at home. Points per game. Even for all matches this year, his points per game is about 8.4, which is similar to what Salah scored last year. So he's almost a set and forget captain. Now, obviously, he is going to get rotated from time to time. What we've seen so far is when he has been rotated and been benched, he hasn't come on at all. That may not continue, but it does provide me with a little bit of hope if I'm going to captain him. So I'll be looking to captain him and Aubameyang, and arguably I could even captain Son this week. And I'm just going to hope that Kane owners will captain him and forget about Man City players. I keep saying Spurs, Man City players, and I'll kind of gain some points there. But what I will say is I've checked today, that's before any transfers in this week, he's owned by about 66% of people in the top 10k. So if you're around that mark, you're not got him and he goes big, that is really going to hurt. That's only going to increase this week. When people captain him, his effective ownership could be over 100, and that makes him a really scary prospect. Now, because he's close to 13 million, I'm not going to try and get him in my team. I could. I've actually got pretty easy ways to do it. I could swap Aubameyang. I'm just going to keep the faith of Aubameyang. I don't want to get too worried about him just because he's only got 7 points over the last two. Fingers crossed he'll keep his place and he'll be the #1 striker and he can keep up with Kane. And like I said earlier, I think the likes of Son could do really well as well for Spurs. So is Kane essential? I'm going to say no, but is he a scary prospect? Definitely. Who to captain this week? I kind of already answered. I think if you've got Kane, you captain him against Burnley. I really do think Son could be good. He played 70 minutes tonight against Barcelona, so hopefully he comes back into the team. I think the fact that he started versus Barcelona shows how important he is and that he is one of the names on the first or the best 11 team sheet. But obviously Lamela has only just come back from injury, so he'll probably have his minutes managed a bit, come off around the 70-80 minute mark, but I think he will start most games. For me, I'm probably going to captain Sterling, but Kane is the obvious choice, I think, if you've got him. And then, forgotten about Sterling. People forgetting how good he is. I'm even looking at maybe bringing Salah in. I'll talk about that at the end. People asking me what to do with Lacazette. I just think because Arsenal's fixtures are so good, it's only been one game. You did kind of get a bit screwed. Obviously, you come off at half-time, which was tactical. We don't know how often him and Aubameyang are going to play together going forward. But I think if you've got him, because of the decent fixtures, I would give him a couple more games and then reassess. If you need that money to make a big move, like to get Kane or to just redistribute funds into midfield or something like that, then you could go for it. Get rid of him for someone like Jimenez or Mitrovic has got pretty good fixtures, although is only one yellow card away from getting banned. But I wouldn't let that bother you too much. So I would probably keep Lacazette for now. David Silva injured. People asking me kind of who should they replace him with. I mean, if I was looking at replacements for him right now, I'm going to keep banging on about Son because I love him, but I think he's almost the same price. Great fixtures. It's almost someone pointed out on Twitter. I think it was Applewonkers again. It's such a convenience transfer. Otherwise, you've got someone like Felipe Anderson as well. I'd definitely be looking at. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you how well he's been doing recently. People comparing him to Payet, goals and assists, great fixtures for West Ham, which is why I'm looking at him. But he looks like a good buy. So around that price, those kind of two players I'd be looking at. Obviously, if you can upgrade to Sané, then great. You could look at him too, because Man City's fixtures are pretty good. Is it time to sell Richarlison? So we seem to get this question all the time, no matter what Richarlison does. And I think he's got now 9 attacking returns in 16 game weeks. He didn't play 2 of those, and on the other one he only played 40 minutes. So if you disregard those 3 games, that's 13 game weeks, 9 attacking returns for, 6.7 million or something like that, depending on when you got him. That's a pretty decent return. Now, they do have 2 tough fixtures now against top 6 sides, so I'm not expecting too many points. So you could get rid of him and bring him back. That all depends if you've got other transfers to make for my team. There's other things I need to do. I've got to keep him. But then Everton's fixtures are pretty good. I'm not sure about defensively for the next kind of 4 because it's 2 tough fixtures, then 2 away fixtures. But from an attacking point of view, I'm going to keep him. I think he's a goal threat, whether he plays up front or on the left. Sigurdsson's looked okay, but for me, Richarlison, because of the money saved, and the goal threat, he'd be the one to go for. So I'm going to keep him. I don't think it's time to sell necessarily, but if you've got the luxury of making that move while the fixtures are tough, you could then bring him back in later, especially if you wanted someone like Felipe Anderson. That'd be a pretty good swap, I think. And then don't forget about Aguero. So Aguero could be back this weekend. We'll have to wait and see exactly what Pep says before. But given Man City's fixtures and their performances, he could be the one to have instead of Aubameyang soon. I'm looking at that. So don't kind of set up your team that you can't get him at all. Given that Kane's fixtures, and from what I've read, Spurs played very well tonight, including Harry Kane. You'd expect him maybe to do the business over Christmas. So you might not be looking at Aguero, and obviously you've got to see what the rotation's like between him and Jesus. But yeah, let's not forget about him. He's back soon, and he was pretty good, although maybe not too explosive. He was very consistent in our teams, and hopefully he'll be able to play a good 80-90 minutes every game. Yeah, so coming on to my plans, I'll try and keep this quick because I'm not 100% which way around I'm going to do it. So basically, it all comes down to Salah. If I keep him, then I've set up my team like that with the 5 because that's what I'm going to play now, 5 in midfield. I will do Dean Garner to Snodgrass for free, no hit, or I will do Dean Garner to Felipe Anderson, which I would prefer, but I would need to fund that, which would probably be Michael Keane to a 4.3 million defender, someone like Schindler at Huddersfield probably. So that's one way. Or if I get rid of Salah, it will be Salah out and Dean Garner out. And then I can get 2 of 3, Hazard, Sané and Felipe Anderson. I think I can afford Hazard and Sané. That's probably my preference. I think Chelsea's fixtures are good. Hazard has been creating a lot of chances, having a lot of goal attempts. The chances created are a bit frustrating because of who he's creating them for, in the likes of Morata, who's not been in great form, and apparently he's going to go away on loan in January. But Hazard's looked pretty good. He's kept up his points per game pretty well all season. Good fixtures, so I'm looking at him. And Sané, I just want to double up on Man City because, like I said, I think people are forgetting about them. And a midfield of Sané, Sterling, Hazard, Son and Richarlison sounds pretty damn good to me. So that's what I'm looking at doing. Yes, it's a bit of a risk to go about Salah, and I also won't have Kane. So that does concern me a little bit that I don't have either of those 2 big hitters. And it's basically going to be me putting my faith in captain in the likes of Sterling, or maybe Aubameyang if I'm feeling brave enough. So, if Sterling suddenly doesn't get returns in the next couple of games, I'm going to be panicking a little bit. But I think Hazard and Sané, I can't remember if it saves me money, but or Sané and Felipe Anderson, or Hazard and Felipe Anderson, that gives me a bit of money to upgrade Aubameyang to Kane. So that's in the back of my mind too. So I think I'm going to go the Salah route. I'm sorry I can't confirm 100% now. It's Tuesday. There's a lot of thinking time before the end of the week. But that's what I'm thinking right now, and that's probably the way I'm going to do it. Otherwise, I could keep him for the next 3 and do Dean Garner to Snodgrass. Like I say, he's been playing pretty well as well, and West Ham have got great fixtures. Otherwise, the rest of my team I'm pretty happy with. I need to get rid of Ryan sometime soon. I might take a hit and just do that at some point, probably for Fabianski, unless I've got money to upgrade even further, because, again, West Ham's fixtures are pretty good for a while. I'm going to probably play Trent against Man United because I think that game will be tight, maybe even a 0-0. We'll have to wait and see what the injury news is with him. Otherwise, fairly happy with my team going forward. Next stream will be on Thursday at 9:30 PM, so make sure to join in with that. Maybe I've got a better idea of what I'm doing at that point. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Always appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new around here. And leave a comment. Let me know whether I've been talking rubbish, whether you agree, disagree with what I've said, and any questions you've got. Otherwise, good luck in Game Week 17, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers all.